All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders of GMS who well. Peace, salutations to Leka Akim in the four corners, pushing this truth and sincerity. Peace be unto you. Shalom. All right, this lesson I want to do is it's going to be about suspicions. Satan can really get in your head. Satan can really get in your head about all these suspicions. And one of the best ways to know that it's Satan that's getting in your head is your suspicions aren't even substantiated about anything. Sometimes you just be suspicious just to be suspicious. That's a terrible spirit to have. And it's a terrible spirit where brothers have to be around. Just knowing that like you just on edge. We had a guy that was came to our camp a while back. He was tithing. He was wanted to be a part of us. And everything. And he was coming out being diligent. Then I think he went home. He noticed like a hair on his jacket or something like that. And then he said it was a bug that somebody planted on him. It was somebody from the GMS Detroit camp. And he know all the people that he made contact with. And so he was thinking that somebody planted something on him and they was trying to record him. Now imagine how a spirit like that could affect your relationship with brothers. We completely just stopped dealing with him 100% completely after that. Ain't no nah, you a little too bugged out for that. He went made videos about us, took it to the internet. Nah, bro, you got hey, see you in the kingdom if you are of the seed. And that's an extreme example, but you can have lesser extreme examples in your camp amongst brothers, and you just suspicious just for absolutely nothing. You know, some suspicions are I divide suspicions into two categories. All right, you know, well, really eight, but two categories, uh, and then there's each category got their own subcategory. So a righteous suspicion and then an evil suspicion. All right. Now, what makes a suspicion evil? Well, here's what makes a suspicion evil. First of all, you're wrong. That's one of the main things. You're wrong. And second thing that makes a suspicion evil is it's not even reasonable. Reasonable, practical, none of that. You know, you have some suspicions that could be wrong, but it's a reasonable suspicion. Like for instance, a brother, uh, let's say a brother comes to camp and he smells like weed, and the suspicion would be to assume that he's smoking it. Now let's say that he actually, truly, actually, really did smoke weed, but he had to be in the presence of somebody who was smoking weed, and he didn't realize he still smelled like weed. Maybe around his job, he has to be around weed smoking niggas, or maybe his living arrangements aren't the best, and he has to be around weed smokers or whatever. And so, to suspect that and assume that, that would be a reasonable suspicion. A little bit more of a seasoned brother and that knows brother's reputation, stuff like that, and character, you might be able to, all right, let me not jump the gun, you know. But that's a reasonable suspicion to make, and you could be wrong. Now here's the unreasonable suspicion to make, and what makes it wicked. A brother comes to camp and he walks by camp and he says, "Hey, hey," and he says your government name. All right. Matter of fact, let's say it's even uh Edomite. All right. Unreasonable, like, oh, that man in the world, he's friends with Edomites, he's cool with them. Man, he might be a tear, bro. Now that's unreasonable. You don't think there's Edomites that know our names, our government name somewhere in this world that we haven't had to encounter Edomite? Now your suspicion is starting to be evil. You looking at a brother and then all you suspecting that he's committing adultery with your woman and stuff like that. You don't got nothing to substantiate it. Oh man, I read his spirit, Uh, 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 I know through the spirit, all that nonsense stuff. These are evil suspicions. All right, there is no foolproof way to define what an evil suspicion is. But when you get ideas and you judge more things and realize more examples of evil suspicions, you got an idea what an evil suspicion is. A brother suspects that uh let's say uh let's say the new moon's coming in and another brother suspects that let's say you get off the phone because you want to hurry up and cook before the Sabbath's about to come in, and the brother suspects, oh, the brother don't want to talk to me, and you might not even be aware. He might not even verbally said that he's on the about to get off the phone, or he might have said, and then you just suspected something else, bro. Cause here what happens. You start doing that, then all of a sudden, brothers don't want to be around you, and then what happens after that? You start to notice that brothers don't want to be around you, but you can't figure out why your brother doesn't want to be around you. Never considering that it's the vibe that you're giving off. This is Sirach 3 and verse 23. Be not curious in unnecessary matters, for more things are showed unto thee than men understand. So the scripture says, be not curious in unnecessary matters. Some stuff ain't even worth being curious about, or because there's a borderline between being curious and interrogating the brother about certain stuff that's irrelevant. You curious about why a brother got an orange car? Why you got an orange car? Why you work midnights and not day shifts? Why you uh wear a green jacket? And like some of the suspicions can be like, or curiosity is suspicion. It's like, where are we going with this? like it's something that you have to really, really consider and think about because if you scripture talks about examining yourself, all right, and you gotta examine yourself for because if you like you should like know like bro like damn I keep being wrong, like something's going on then. You have these suspicions, like you certain things you shouldn't be curious about, because then the idle mind starts thinking and try to connect certain dots that don't even need to be connected. Like curious about how much a brother makes, how much that brother's check is. Now all of a sudden you start calculating, divvying things up about what you think a brother has and doesn't have, can't afford and can't afford. Never once considering what this brother's expenses are. But you know half of the story though. So now you got those you was curious. That curiosity led to suspicions. And then all of a sudden those suspicions, you let those suspicions run wild. And that's a sin. Those foolish thoughts, those are sins. You supposed to be sitting here trying to rebuke that. You're not supposed to be entertaining Satan. Let me see I get this Proverbs real quick. Proverbs 24 and verse should be 9. Yep, the thought of foolishness is sin, and the scorner is an abomination of men. So that's stupid to think some of these thoughts. And that's a sin. So you want to get up and actually rebuke some of these thoughts. Don't entertain them. And on that note, I hope this lesson has been edifying. And on that note, I want to give all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Akakwadash. Double honors to Elders GMS Rule Well. Peace, salutations, and shalom.